This is an Argentinian pizza called Fugazzeta. Let's go in for the bite. So I made a short not too long ago. It was a grilled cheese sandwich with super peppery caramelized onions in it. And somebody commented, it's very reminiscent of an Argentinian pizza, Fugazzeta. So I did some research. It's like if you had a focaccia and a pizza and a calzone got together, this would be it. Also, it's absolutely jam-packed full of cheese. Now I've tried a deep dish Chicago pizza before, that also had a lot of cheese, so I know this one's gotta be good. And then to cut through all that cheese, I made a quick chimichurri to go along with it. I'm gonna start by making a dough. Now I got some tepid water, which just means some warm water. The water's around 42 degrees Celsius. I wouldn't make it any hotter than 45, which it might kill your fresh yeast, which is what I'm gonna crumble in next. We're just gonna add a teaspoon of sugar. It's gonna let the yeast get all nice and foamy. And we just get a fork, and we're just gonna give it a mix till all that sugar and yeast is dissolved into the water. Now you're gonna let this sit till it gets nice and foamy. Next you wanna put in is the flour. Now the best flour to use for this is all-purpose flour. You don't wanna be using this specific pizza flour like this Tipio 00 flour. That's good for Neapolitan pizzas, but for this, we want more of a bready texture. So something that's gonna be a nice strong flour that produces plenty of gluten. Also, I didn't film a close-up before, but you know when the flour's ready to be put in, when your yeasty mixture gets all nice and foamy around the outsides. Now that's all left to add is some olive oil and some salt. Bung it on your stand mixer, start it off at a low speed till it gets combined, and then we'll bump it up to a medium-low speed, which on mine will be around 2. We want to give it a nice long knead, so it produces plenty of gluten. Alright, once your dough's finished mixing, you want to put a little bit of flour down on your table, and you want to plop it out onto your workbench. So a little bit of flour on your hands, and you just want to bring it into a nice, tight little bowl. You want to put a little bit of olive oil in your bowl, get it all zhuzhed around, get your dough, plop it in, get it all nicely covered in that olive oil. Then because it's a little bit on the colder side in here, well it's not cold, but it's winter at the moment, we're going to cover it in plastic wrap. Now if it's summertime and it was a lot warmer in here, I would use a dinner plate, but we're going to try and trap as much of the heat in here as we can, so we're not waiting all day for this to double in size. Which is the next step. Now I've got my oven preheated to 50 degrees Celsius. Now I'm going to turn the oven off and I'm going to stick it in that preheated oven. It'll prove up a hell of a lot quicker in that warmer environment. So now we need to thinly slice some onions. Now the best way that I've found to thinly slice onions with a knife is to cut the top and the root end, both completely off, slice it in half, then peel off the skins. Okay, now once you got them peeled and in half, I cut it from the bottom to the top or north to south, whichever way you want to look at it. Then just go ahead and slice it up as thin as you can. Alternatively, you could use a mandolin, but the only mandolin I have is on my food processor, and because I'm only doing 2 onions, I ain't getting that big thing out because I don't have to clean it up. So I'm just going to go through and slice it as thin as I can. Once I get to the end bit here, just plop it over on the side and finish it off. Okay, once you got them all sliced up, I'm doing this directly on a board. You could do it in a bowl, but you know, save on dishes and all that jazz. You want to sprinkle some salt all over it, drizzle just a touch of olive oil over them, and then get that all mixed up. Get all the onions broken up, get it all covered in that salt. Now we're going to set it all in a strainer. Now we're doing this because I have a very hard time finding sweet white onions in Austria. But I have no problem in finding brown onions, which if I could find the white one, I probably would still do this step. What it's going to do is the salt is going to draw out moisture from the onion and also take out that harshness that the onion always has, especially with the brown ones. So I'm just going to sit that over a bowl like that and let it sit there until we're ready to use it. Now it's time to talk cheese. Now, in Austria, at the local supermarkets, it's very hard to find a whole block of low moisture mozzarella. But they've always got this pre-grated stuff, which they don't put too much anti-caking on it, so it actually melts down pretty good. So I'm going to use that. And also, they always have fresh mozzarella. So I've taken this out of the pack, and I've just let it sit out of the pack away from moisture. I've dabbed it down with paper towels as much as I can, try and get as much moisture off the surface as possible. Now all I'm going to do with this is just cube it up into little squares. So I've got it all cut up in little squares. Now I'm just going to spread it out onto this plate with some paper towel on it, just to let it sit on the paper towel, suck up extra moisture that's in there until we're ready to use it. Now my dough's doubled in size. I'm just going to degas it all, and then I'm going to weigh it out. Because this is going to be layered. You're going to have onions on the bottom, then you're going to have a dough, then you're going to have cheese, and then another piece of dough on top. And I want the lower piece of dough to be slightly larger than the top one. So it has something to hold up to all this cheese we're about to shove in there. Alright, now the two halves of dough, we're just going to get into a nice tight little ball again to make the next step a little bit easier. Right, now we got our onions back on the scene. So all we're going to do is grab it a bit at a time and we're going to squeeze out as much of the moisture as we can. Now it's time to build this Fugazzeta. Now I'm using this pan because I don't have a proper pizza dish that would fit it, and I think this is going to be the best option. I don't know if this is right, but I feel like I need to go down with a little bit of olive oil. Because when I was doing research for this, a lot of people said it was like a focaccia mixed with a pizza. So when I make focaccia, I put oil in the bottom of the pan. That's what I'm doing here. So it's still going to help with the stickage. Now it's time to build this thing. So bottom of the pan, going down with a healthy amount of onions, because this is a onion and cheese pizza essentially. So I'm going to go in, spread them out evenly across the bottom of the pan. Now with your bigger dough ball, you're just going to stretch it out till it's the same circumference of your pan you're going to be putting it in. Okay, you can check the circumference of the dough by just picking up your pan and holding it over the bottom. You would actually want it a little bit bigger than the circumference, so when we stick the top piece on, you can crimp it together. Which is the next thing to do, is just going to put this dough into the pan. Easy enough. Load your dough into the pan and stretch it out so it fits the pan perfectly. Now comes the time where we're going to put in an absolute buttload of cheese. Now you want the cheese to come right out to the edges, leave just a little border, so when we put the top piece on, we can crimp it all together and all that cheese stays in there. And after the grater goes in, we're going in with the fresh mozzarella, straight on top. Don't be shy with the cheese. Now we're going to give it a slight sprinkle of some oregano. If that's your jam, you can leave it out if you want. And a little bit of salt. Alright, now we just stretch out the top dough. Okay, once you got your top dough stretched out, you just want to lay it over the top of your bottom dough. And you're going to go ahead and crimp these two pieces of dough together as best you can. Okay, once you got it all crimped together, what you're going to do is poke a few holes in the top. So when all that cheese melts, the steam's got somewhere to go. Now we're just going to cover it with a tea towel and give it a second proof. Should only take about another 40 minutes or so. I don't know why everyone complains about cleaning up. I'll show you an easy way to clean all this mess up. All you gotta do, start a YouTube channel and then it's done. Now we're gonna freehand a quick chimichurri. So in a bowl, got some fresh garlic I finely chopped up. Also got some fresh parsley I chopped up. And because I already had it chopped up in the fridge, I got some coriander, also finely chopped up. Then we're gonna go in with a little bit of Uncle Hansi's chili mix. Now, this varies in spice level from kind of mild to absolutely melt your face off. And you're not sure what you're going to get. So we'll start off with that much and then we'll adjust. Then we're going to go in with a good glug of olive oil, any wine vinegar of your choice. Obviously, I'm using white wine because that's what I had in the cupboard. A sprinkle of some oregano, then some salt, some fresh cracked pepper. Then we'll give it a mix up. Then we'll taste and adjust till it tastes good to me. Or you if you're making it. Now this chimichurri, for this application, should be super bright and acidic on account of all that cheese we're stuffing in the pizza. And the vinegar wasn't quite cutting it. So I'm putting in the zest of a lime as well, just to try and brighten it up that bit more. Instead of wasting the lime, we're also going to squeeze the juice in. It can only make things better. Your chimichurri is going to taste completely different. It all depends on what olive oil you're using. Now when I'm tasting this, it has just a slight bitter afternote from the olive oil that I'm using. So I'm just going to put a little bit of maple syrup in, not too much. It's not going to make it any sweeter, it's just going to get rid of that bitter aftertaste that I'm going for. Also, the thickness is entirely up to you. You can make it super chunky, super thin, it's whatever you're feeling at that moment. And for me, I'm feeling pretty chunky at the moment. So, that's pretty much spot on for me. So I've had my oven preheating for a good while now at 220 degrees Celsius with my pizza stone inside. Top bottom heat with the fan on. So now this is puffed up a little bit more. So I'm just gonna hit the top with a little bit of olive oil, just a little sprinkle. Now we're gonna put this into the oven for about 15 minutes until the top gets a nice golden color. Then we'll come back, we'll flip it over, and we'll get some nice caramelization going on those onions. So, in the oven it goes. So I'll let it in there for 20 minutes on this top side just to get a little bit more browning. There's some, but not so great. Also, I put a little film of oil on the top of this just to help things slide off once I flip it over. So the next step is to turn this bad boy around. One quick move, and whoop. It's stuck. Maybe next time you should loosen it up from the sides before we try and turn it. So let's try this again. And whoop. Okay, looking not so bad. And we'll grab our little egg slice here, slide it back in, and then we bung it back in the oven till we get some good colour on those onions. I'm picking about another 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, so I was in there for 7 minutes total, and I can see it's kind of busted open on the side. So I would like to get it out onto this rack to, you know, rest a little bit. But we're going to leave it in here for about, 3 or 4 minutes just to rest in here, and then we'll flip it out onto the wire rack here, just to make sure everything doesn't ooze out all over the place straight away. All right, let's see if I can get this onto the wire rack without burning myself. Oh, it's just open everywhere. While most of the cheese leaked out the back, this one still has enough to make a good bite. Well, I did have a bit of a leak out the backside when I took it out the pan. Still should be all right. Let's go in for the bite. Bit of that chimichurri to cut through all this cheese. I'm a little bit confused as to why this hasn't absolutely filled everybody's social media feeds. It's completely Instagram worthy. Massive cheese pools, soft bready goodness. I mean, in my opinion, add a bit of cracked black pepper on the top, a little bit of this chimichurri. That is absolutely banging.